Haristutihi Shloka 7. Yam brahmakyam devamananyam paripurnam hritstham bhaktair labhyamajam sukshmamatarkyam dhyatvatmastham brahmavidoyam vidurisham tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimede. Anvaya. Devam ananyam paripurnam brahmakyam bhaktaihi labhyam ajam sukshmam atarkyam atmastham yam vishnum dhyatva brahmavidaha yam hritstham isham viduhu tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide. So the meaning would be Devam. Devam means the self-effulgent Atma. And then Ananyam. Other than this self-effulgent Atma, na Anyam, no other object exists. And further, this Atma is Paripurnam. Being the form of fullness, it is always existent. And then Brahmakyam. This Atma is known by the name Brahman. And it is known as Brahman to whom Bhaktaihi Labhyam. This Brahman is obtained, which means known. Obtained means not obtained as an object, but understood and known by the devotees, the wise people. How is it known? As Ajam, that which is unborn, and further Sukshmam, that which is very subtle, and then Atarkyam, which is not known by mere logical analysis, being unavailable to the senses. Then further Atmastham, this Brahman is seen within oneself. Yam Vishnum Dhyatva. So that Vishnu, after contemplating upon whom Brahmavidaha, the knowers of Brahman, Yam Hritstham Isham Viduhu, they understand and see that Brahman as the Lord within their own heart. So, Tam Samsara Dhvanta Vinasham Harimede. I worship that Hari, who is the destroyer of ignorance which causes samsara. Now we will look at the detailed meaning. Now the topic of how to do dhyanam, this continues. The verse 6 also was talking about dhyanam. So the same thing continues in this verse also. Now in Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse in chapter 9. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. In that, Bhagavan says, ye janaha, those people who see themselves as non-separate from me, ananyaha, recognizing me, mam chintayantaha, they gain me, paryupasate. And for those who are always one with me, tesham nitya abhiyuktanam, whatever they want to acquire and protect, yoga kshemam, I take care of, aham vahami, he says. So he is praising the wise people. And then he tells how upon contemplation, how and where they visualize Brahman. So another statement in chapter 13, Dhyanena atmani pashyanti kechidatmanam atmana. He says, Dhyanena, by contemplation, atmani, within the self, that is in the mind, some see, kechit pashyanti, the self, atmanam, with the self, atmana. Atmana here means with the prepared mind. So, like this, how the wise or the jnani obtain the vision of Brahman. This meaning is brought out in this verse as Devam Ananyam Paripurnam, that self-effulgent Paramatma, Devam, which is explained in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad as Atrayam Purushah Swayam Jyotihi. So, upon doing Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam for a length of time, the Jiva sees his own self as the self-effulgent Atma. And then Ananyam means Anya Vastu Shunyam. This very self is seen to exist everywhere. That is, it is all self and there is no other object. So, by understanding that there is no object or cognition without consciousness, it is the self which is seen everywhere. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yasmat param na aparam asti. The whole universe is filled with Brahman or Purusha. So there is nothing superior or ultimate, param, to Brahman, or aparam, from whom there is nothing different. In other words, all there is the self, Brahman. And then Paripurnam means Paritah Sarveshu Desheshu Kaleshu Cha Vartamanam. It is the self which exists always, at all times, everywhere, being all pervasive. Now this is mentioned in Mundakopanishad as Brahmai Vedam Amritam Purastat Paschat Brahma Dakshinatascha Uttarena Adhaschordhvam Cha Prasritam. It means idam, all this which is Purastat, in front, is immortal, Amritam, that eternal Brahman alone, Brahma eva. Further, at the back, Paschat is Brahman, and then at the right, Dakshinataha is Brahman, Cha, and then Uttarena on the left is Brahman. It spreads out, Prasritam. Further, below, Adhaha, Cha, and above, Urdhvam also, it is this Brahman alone, Idam Brahman. This Brahman is the most exalted, iti. So this Brahman, being free from the limitations of time, space and objects, this self is what is known as Brahman, Brahma Akhyam. It is the truth or the nature of the self. That self alone, if it is given a name, then that is Brahman. So Brahma Akhyam. And then, so this self which is known as Brahman is known by whom? By the wise devotees, bhaktaihi. How do they know? By living a life of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. They live a contemplative or a meditative life. Then to them it is labhyam. It is known, or they obtain this Brahman. How do they know this Brahman? They know this Brahman as Ajam, one who is not subject to birth. Mahan Ajaha, says Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Further, how is this Brahman known? It is known as Susukshmam. Sukshmam. Here Sukshmam means subtle. The explanatory meaning would be Indriya Agrahyam, that which cannot be perceived by the senses because it is not available as an object. Then Kaivalya Upanishad says this as Sukshmat Sukshmataram, that which is subtler than the subtle. Now Brahman being the very essence of the universe or the content of the universe, it is said to be subtler than the subtle, sukshmat sukshmataram, which implies its all-pervasive nature. Then further, Brahman is atarkyam, kevala tarka agamyam. That is, Brahman being subtle, it cannot be known by mere logical analysis. Then how to know this? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Tam tu Aupanishadam. Vedanta or Upanishad is the only means to know Brahman. Through the Upanishad words, where is Brahman obtained? Atmastham. It is obtained as the very nature of the self. In other words, Jiva is none other than Brahman. That is the visualization. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tadevanupravishat. It means Brahman enters the very same creation for which it is the substratum. This all-pervading Brahman, known as Vishnu, dhyatva, upon contemplating upon this Vishnu, Brahmavidaha bhavanti, the wise or the devotees, the seekers, they become the knowers of Brahman. It is such a Brahman which is visualized within one's own self, Atmastham. And how is it visualized? As the truth of every being. Truth of every being means what? Antaryami. Brahman as the indweller of every being is understood. Yam Isham Viduhu. So it is that Lord is known as the nature of the very self in the seat of meditation. So unto that indweller, Antaryami, who is also known as Hari, I offer my prayers, is the structure of this shloka. So tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ede. So knowing that Brahman, who is also known as Hari, I get release from the dualities of samsara. So Shravanam and Mananam Nididhyasanam. Contemplation leads the seeker or the devotee to gain the vision of Brahman within his own heart. So Brahman is known and visualized as the self-effulgent pure consciousness within the heart itself. Yam brahmakyam devamananyam paripurnam hritstham bhaktair labhyam ajam sukshmam atarkyam dhyatvatmastham brahmavidoyam vidurisham tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harimide. Namaste.